OM-5 surely raised some emotions. In this video I'm gonna answer some of the comments that you made in the comment section for my first impression video about OM-5. It was not only the camera that got a little bit bashing, I got my share too, and I will comment on that too, because it was a bit surprising for me that camera was not that well received. Let's dive into some of the things that you commented on, and I will explain some of the things that I said in that video. Not saying that I don't agree with the video that I made, but some things need to be said a bit more clearer. Hi, it's Peter here, and let's get right into the business. But before that, I need to say a few words about OMDS. OMDS is a totally different company than Olympus imaging division was. OMDS is kind of like a startup. Of course, it's not in that sense that it did not start from scratch. Of course, it has the legacy from Olympus imaging division and also major of the personnel that works there. But the company culture is totally different. One big thing is the way they market the cameras. Every marketing department or who has been working with marketing knows that you need to have a kind of like a target customer. And that was not very clear with Olympus when it was part of Olympus. But now that is their main core. They target the cameras to certain audiences. Like OM-1 was for bird photographers, outdoor adventurers, hikers who are photographers. And that is something that they did very well. And OM-1 is selling quite well of what I've heard. And that is good news. And that is a bit different from Olympus. They did not do that in that marketing. It was more about the features. Now they're talking more about the camera, the experience and the feeling when you're photographing, which I think is a wise move. And that shows also with OM-5. They made it for hikers, outdoor people who are not necessarily there to photograph. They are more for there to enjoy outdoors and collecting and storing those memories in a form of photograph. They are not necessarily photographers. And that, I think, is a clever move from OMDS. And I think that's the only way to survive. You can't just make a camera that is for everyone. I don't think that would make the thing. And that's something that they did in Olympus. But I will talk about that a bit later too. But the whole culture that they have in OMDS is totally different. Or you can see the enthusiasm that they have. It's totally different from what they had when they were a part of Olympus. And I think that's a big, big thing. So I know this because I've been working with, or not working with, but cooperating with both of them, with Olympus for many years and also now about a year with OMDS. And then a few words about who is OM-5 for. I already mentioned a few things, and it's not necessarily meant to be for photographers only. It is also for someone who is recording the memories when being outdoors and enjoying outdoor life with friends and family and all that. And I think that's a clever move, like I already said. And is that going to work is totally a different thing. But I think it has a chance to work because they do have a plan, a lot more clearer than Olympus imaging division had. And that's why I think there is a big, big chance that this OM-5 will be a success. And I will talk about that a bit later. And what comes to reviewing the camera, and I think that point, that who the camera is for, is the key. And that should be the kind of like the main focus on the reviews of the camera. And I think most reviewers miss that because they don't know. They're kind of like old-fashioned reviewers. Just look at the features and don't really think deeply who the camera is for. And of course, if that message from OMDS doesn't go through, then it will be a problem, of course. And then one thing was the rumors. They made the expectations really high when OM-5 was released. Rumors are, kind of fun. I tend to watch, or not watch, but to read different types of rumors on different types of rumor sites, and they are interesting to see what future cameras will have and all that. And most times they are quite accurate, but this time they were more on the wrong side. They had some features that where did that come from? Who feeded that bull to the rumor site? And I think this time it was really toxic, and that made also the camera for many a bit of a disappointment because the expectations were so high. I think that's big part of the negative feedback that the camera got right at the first. unfortunately, the rumors this time were wrong and toxic, yes. Then my views about OM-5 and why I said what I said. I agree the menu system, that it was the older one, the same one that EM5 Mark III had. They should have had the same menu as OM1. And like many reviewers have said, that would have been like kind of like the signature OM system menu. That would have been a lot better. But all the other things are just a matter of opinion and how big they are. And like I said in this video, that it's a bit amusing that people are getting so upset about micro USB because it's not a big deal, to be honest. Well, if it is for you, then, well, who am I to say that it's not? But I think for many it is just to find something to mock about the camera, because there's always people, it doesn't matter what the brand is, there's always these people that say that because of this and that I won't get it, even though it doesn't affect your photography at all. And I had the camera with me on my trip to Lisbon, and what I did, the battery lasted me for the whole day, and then I just charged it in the evening and I was good to go next morning, so no problem with that. I had a spare battery, but I never needed it because the battery was enough. And that's, of course, my way of shooting. I don't shoot a ton of images a day. I just, walk around and shoot if I feel like it. I could, use just a small memory card and one battery because, that's the way I shoot. I'm not, burst with images a whole lot. So that's the way I do. But of course, if your way is different, then of course you might need extra batteries or faster charging. But for me, no. And for the ones that this camera is for, most likely they will be totally fine with that. And like I said in the first impression video, that adding the features that they did add to OM-5 compared to EM5 Mark III were spot on for those who this camera is meant for. And I think that's something to think about. And, like I said, I was using the camera in Lisbon, and I used quite a bit Live ND and handheld high-res shot. Live ND, I could have the background blur if I was taking an image of a statue, for example, just to make the image more interesting and hide some things in the background and all that. And I think it's a marvelous feature, and that only could be the worth upgrading the EM5 Mark III if you need Live ND. And the same goes with handheld high-res shot. I used it also quite a bit. Sometimes I needed to get a bit closer, but I couldn't, so I used the handheld high-res shot, and I can crop the image. It's of course not a perfect solution, but it works in most cases anyways, at least for me. So I'm really happy that they added those two features, which for me were something that I used quite a bit in my trip to Lisbon. So that those two are crucial, or not crucial, but something that I will be using. I've been using it with my OM1 too, so in that sense it's a good addition to that. And then your comment about me. That was also a bit surprising because that hasn't happened that much. People were accusing me of shilling, which is kind of funny because I cannot be shilling because I'm out in the open telling my connection to the brand and the products. I am an OM system ambassador, and it's not a secret. I always have it on my lower third anyways. Because if you're shilling, you're not telling the connections. If I didn't tell that I was an OM system ambassador and I was praising a product, then that would be shilling. And you also need to understand that shilling is also the other way around. If you have some bad beef with the company and you bash them, but you don't tell about the bad beef and you bash the product, you also shilling. It also works that way. And I'm not saying that someone is doing that, but just to make clear that what shilling is. And so I cannot be shilling because I'm out in the open and I tell what my connection is. And that's really important to me that I tell that. That's, required by the laws. And also my opinions are my own. I always make my own opinion. OMDS doesn't not tell me to do these videos. They don't even require me to have the YouTube channel. So, everything I say, if you watch my channel for a couple of years, you know that most of my reviews, no matter what the gear is, no matter what the brand is usually positive. And that is because that's the way I am. I try always to find positive things and things, how this could benefit someone if this has this feature. And if there are any bad things, I will say that, okay, this could be better, but I very seldom bash anything because it's a bad thing. I will say that, yeah, this could be different. And the same thing I said with OM-5 first impression video. I said, okay, this could be different, but this is what they did, and the reason is probably this. And I think it's, I'm a positive person. And even though my face isn't always that, that's another thing. I don't laugh that much, but I should, I know. But, you know, that kind of struck me. And some even say that I was paid to make that video. No, they don't. Like I said, they have nothing to do with my channel. I'm an OM system ambassador as a photographer who has a YouTube channel. The thing is that when you have something that was provided to you, no matter what, if you can keep it or not, you still have to tick this box when you have something that is kind of sponsored. It was in a way sponsored that I got the camera to test for, but I have to send it back, and I will. You just don't know how the OM system ambassador thing works. We do get access to gear that we can borrow, but all the gear that I use for my professional work I have bought because I want to have and keep that my own so I don't have to send it back. Because of course, let's say that I have the OM-5 right now, but I need to send it back sometime. If someone else wants to test it or they need it, I will send it back. So it's not mine. I cannot rely that I have it all the time. That's why I buy all my stuff. And before I say something about if OM-5 will sell, a few words about our workshop with Matti Sulanto. We will have the personal view workshop also next August 2023. And here is a video about some of the stuff we did during this year's workshop. Everything about that workshop is photography and storytelling. You will make a set of images that come together is a story. And all the information and how to sign up, you can find a link in the description down below. So go check that out and see if that's something for you. But let's continue with will OM-5 sell? Now, of course, I can't be certain if it will sell, but I think they have a pretty clear target audience, and if they can find the target audience, I think it's a very good camera for that particular target audience. And I think if they find that audience, it will sell. And it's also a camera that doesn't sell tons right at the beginning. It wasn't so exciting in a way. Like for me it was, but for you guys it wasn't. So it's not gonna be, you know, one that will, you know, have delays when delivering. Probably it will go smoothly when you pre-order it and you will get it when they start delivering, I believe. But it is the same thing was with EM5 Mark III, which ended up to being quite popular camera in the long run. It was, I think it was 2019 when it was launched, and it didn't sell a ton right at the beginning. And then the problem was the polycarbonate body, because people wanted metal body, and they said that I'm not going to buy this because of the material of the body. And, you know, well, many of you ended up buying it anyways later. And that's what's going to happen with the OM-5 too. I think it's going to sell for the next 2 to 3 years quite well. Not maybe at the beginning, but it will be gradually getting more sales. But of course, like I said, you need to have first OM system or OMDS needs to find the target audience and deliver the message. OM-1 was a no-brainer. It's probably the best money can buy camera for bird photography. Well, not money can buy, but of course there are some better ones, but they cost 3 times more than OM-1. So OM-1 is a perfect bird photographer's camera if you want light and compact system. But like I said, time will tell if OM-5 sells. I really do hope, because OM system is doing, or OMDS is doing, a lot of good work. And like I said, I might buy this for street photography and maybe do some more traveling next year. And it's a perfect thing. I'd really loved to use it in Lisbon for my street art photography walks. It was just marvelous, and it features Live ND and handheld high-res shot were just perfect additions. And there are 18 more improvements, so it's not kind of the same camera as the EM5 Mark III, like many of you said. But if you want to upgrade, it all depends on those features. If you don't need the features, then do not upgrade. Of course, that's what I always said. But if there are some features that you need or find you'd be useful and will add up to your photography, then it might be something that you want. And here is the video about my first impression of OM-5. But hey, thanks for watching, and bye for now.